Sega.
Welcome to Let's Play Sonic Lost World. This game came out back in October of 2013 with the Wii U and 3DS version. We are going to be focusing on the Wii U version for this playthrough. There will be no 3DS version gameplay, and let me explain why. The 3DS version of this game sucks doo-doo buns. It is awful. I actually really hate it. So we're not going to be playing that version. I'll go more into depth about why I don't like it that much later, but for now, just know it's not great. I'm playing the Wii U version for a reason. But anyway, this game, I actually didn't have to do that much research for it. I checked the cutting room floor, and there was not a lot that was cut out. I believe the development was rather smooth. There's some interesting tidbits here and there. But for the most part, the interest comes from the community when it comes to this game. A lot of the things I'm going to talk about are surrounding the community, because this game, unlike any other Sonic game I've played on the channel before, I've only played one, so, you know, it's a really small hurdle to jump over, but this game is the most divisive Sonic game, or probably divisive game I've played in general on this channel ever. I personally like it, but the amount of hate surrounding this game is incredible, and I want to talk about it, and I want to talk about why I personally think this is a solid Sonic game. So, baby steps. Let's walk before we run, and hop right in.
Drop the critters, Eggman!
If you insist.
Whoa, that's harsh! You'll have to swing back around for it!
Predictable. He must really love those things.
We're hit! Whoa! What's that in the clouds?
That must be the Lost Hex! Cool!
Less looking, more landing!
Alright, I can land this, but it's gonna be bumpy.
Welcome to Windy Hill Zone 1. Not Act 1, Zone 1. Let's take a step back and remember that statement I said right before we hopped in. Let's walk before we run. One of the things that is very divisive about this game is Sonic's movement speed. Right now, I'm walking. I'm tilting the analog stick as far as it can possibly go. Look at how fast Sonic is going. That's because you have to hold down the right trigger to make Sonic run. There is a run button in Sonic Lost World. That was certainly not too great for some people. People were up in arms about that. And I can understand why. Sonic's all about speed. So having a run button and making his default speed without pressing the run button slow, and even when he is running, he's not running that fast. Speed is a very big issue for people with this game. A lot of people want it to be super duper fast, and for the most part, it just isn't that. Now, on the other hand, I do actually want to stop a minute. There's some stuff I want to go through back here. There's quite a lot that comes back from Sonic Colors into this game. This is the biggest issue a lot of people have with Wisps. Back in Sonic Colors, Wisps were fine. They were this cute little power-up type thing to rival Mario, and that was really about it. But they returned, and they've gotten worse and worse over time, and people are really mad about that. Sonic Lost World was the first time this happened, the first time the Wisp came back in full force, and they weren't that good, frankly speaking. The Wisps are probably one of the worst things about this game, really. There's a lot that's going to be shown off very, very quickly here, so I'm going to try to go through all of it. First of all, tutorials. In this game, tutorials are put in a very out of your way type of place. They're on the Wii U gamepad, and there's really not a whole lot going on the Wii U gamepad, so having to look down and tap on the Wii U gamepad to check tutorials, which will also be on the Wii U gamepad, that'll pause the game, it's really, really annoying. And a lot of the time for people who have already played Sonic games, they're pointless, like this one that's just talking about checkpoints and how what I just passed is a checkpoint. Thank you, that was definitely necessary. So I'm going to take this a little bit slow because there's a lot I want to go through. These animal capsules. Find as many as you can. Kill as many enemies as you can. You want to deal with these enemy capsules, or these animal capsules. You want to break as many of them as possible. You can see that there is a little counter. I currently have 115 animals. That's not nearly enough. We gotta do better. So just find as many as you can. I believe there's some... Yeah, okay. Rings right there. Another thing that this game takes from Sonic Colors is the double jump. There we go. The double jump. It's a little bit different, but it's still pretty good, and it allows you to make some sharper platforming tricks that you couldn't do otherwise. There's a little bit more that I haven't really talked about. I'm gonna get right here and I'll show it off. Sonic has now, the spin dash. It comes back. Yes, it's back. It hasn't been seen since Sonic 06, and it is back in full force. This spin dash is probably better than any other spin dash in any other 3D Sonic game. It may not seem like it at first, but that's because a lot of people, when they play this game, don't know about the infinite spin dash trick, where if you hold down the spin dash button, charge it up all the way, let go, and then hold it down again, you'll be able to spin dash forever. This is how you get Sonic moving fast in this game. The run button is fine and all, but it's no spin dash. Now, otherwise, we have this multi-homing attack. It's nothing special. The most special thing about it is the way it works. And what I mean by that is, I don't know how it works. Nobody knows how it works. There's some interesting homing attack mechanics in this game, which could have been done really well if anybody had any clue on how they actually functioned. This game has a very big issue of not telling players pretty much anything. It is probably the game's biggest fault. There's a red ring. I've only been collecting a few of them. They end up unlocking Supersonic like in most modern Sonic games. Really, it's not that cool. Supersonic is pretty pointless. I'm not going to be 100%ing this game. I don't think it's worth anybody's time. Especially because a lot of the red rings are really hard to get in this game. This game is notorious for being very difficult if you try to go for all the red rings. So, maybe no. Maybe don't. Right over here, we have our first Mach speed type section. There's also these rings. If you go through them in order, you get a 1-up. That's really about it. Moving on, Mach speed sections work exactly the way you would think they would work. You cannot stop once you're on them. You gotta keep on moving, avoid everything. You can still jump. It's good. They're really not that hard. They get a little bit more difficult later, but even then, they're really not that hard. Now, this planetoid looks perfect to explain the main selling points of Sonic Lost World. The parkour. This is what makes this game so difficult for a lot of people to grasp. Sonic can do parkour, and that's cool, that's great. Except, they don't explain how to use parkour. And when parkour is required for so many red rings, and when it's required to get so many animal capsules, and you don't explain how to use it, and it's already somewhat clunky as is, it just doesn't mix well, and that's what causes a lot of people to not like it. Running back to what I said earlier, I personally enjoy this game. I know a lot of what I've been saying about it is quite negative, but we'll get into the positives relatively soon. I just want to get out of the way why I see why people don't like it and how I understand and relate to that. I understand why this game is not widely seen as good. There's a lot to it that makes it a little bit iffy, but I feel like once you get the hang of all this stuff that's not really explained to you, the game gets significantly more fun and interesting. The issue is that it doesn't tell you.
Take it easy there.
Oh, stay calm, little guy. Sonic and Tails will get your
we're on,
buddies
okay?
back. Sonic,
No, it'll be
did you
all right.
get those animals back from Eggman?
Just the one container he tossed off his eggmobile.
Wait a minute, just the one? Weak. I would have gotten them all back by now.
Save the rest of them.
What? Let me go.
I hate to think what Eggman's doing to those poor things.
I'm on it.
Welcome to the overworld. There is a lot to do here. First of all, there are levels that you can see from the very beginning that I won't be doing until the very end of the game. The Yoshi's Island Zone and the Legend of Zelda Zone. These are DLC packs, or these were free DLC for the game, that are really, really cool. They're honestly probably some of the best levels in the game. They're super fun. There's also another one that would appear over here that I don't have. You got it from pre-ordering the game, and I got Sonic Lost World for the Wii U a little bit late. It's really not that cool, though. I'll go over what it is later, and you'll see why I don't particularly care about not showing it off. Anyways, up here there are some item boxes that you can pick up, and there's also some things that are locked behind red rings. So you do want to collect red rings. They are somewhat important, but they're not the end-all be-all thing that I'm going to be going for. There's Oma Chow down here. What do you do? I have a request for you. Oh. This is a mission system. They unlock parts for things that I don't really care about. I'll go into what those are later, but just know that there is kind of a mission system in this game.
Transformation 101. Bunnies to badniks. Boom! Instant army. It needs to be a big army if I'm taking over the world below.
You are quite the mighty conqueror.
Yes, I am. I conquered you, didn't I? And with your help, I'll not only rule the world, I'll finally destroy that blue nuisance, Sonic.
Eggman wants the little hedgehog destroyed.
Yeah, well, I feel like destroying something.
That's what I like about you, Zaz. Always ready for a fight, even before you know what you're fighting.
You bet. Bring it on and I'll rip it up.
Win or lose, I'll learn something about our enemy.
That cutscene introduced the antagonists of Sonic Lost World. There was obviously Eggman, we all knew he was gonna be here, but there was also the Deadly Six. And let me tell you something, the Deadly Six are pretty cardboard cutout. They are not that great. I think they're sufficient as villains, they work, but they're really not all that great. A lot of people don't like them, and I can absolutely see why. Their characteristics are one-dimensional. They are just personifications of really basic characteristics that can be viewed as negative. Overly violent, gluttonous, too caught up in your own self-image, stuff like that. It's really nothing special. That's really about it. I'm not going to talk about them too much because, I'm going to be honest with you, one of the most negative things about this game... Oh, by the way, I just cleared a mission. Cool, yay, okay, I don't really care. One of the most negative things about this game is the story. And I have no validation for the story. I can do my best to explain why I think the gameplay of this game is really fun and why I think it's worth your time. The story is absolutely, entirely irredeemable. But I don't really care. Sonic has never been a game about story for me, and it's never been something that killed my enjoyment of the game. I didn't care about Sonic Force's story. I thought it was clearly entirely poor, but I didn't care that much. It was more about the gameplay. The gameplay is more what made me not like the game all that much. This game, similarly, the story didn't affect my experience. If that is something that would affect your experience, then that's worth mentioning. The game is definitely not for you. Otherwise, let's fight Zaz. He has this little weird moon thing for some reason. I don't know why, but he has it. You just want to jump into it. Once he jumps into it enough, he'll fall down, and then you can attack him. let's talk about homing attacks, because I talked about it before. First of all, we have a homing kick now. It's used to deal with certain enemies. Certain enemies can't be dealt with a homing attack normally. They have to be dealt with a homing kick. We've been doing that throughout this level. Hopefully you've seen it. You just press the Y button after you home onto an enemy instead of pressing the A button again. There's also a charged homing attack. It's the first homing attack I did on Zaz. It's where you wait and hope and pray that the homing attack charges up enough to the point where you can do more damage. The more rings that surround an enemy, the more damage it'll do. But again, what charges that up is a mystery. Nobody knows. Let's talk about those animal buddies, shall we? Oh, after it shows me that I unlocked something. Cool! Yeah, I'm not going to be taking on those missions anymore because they're a bit of a time waster, but I guess that's neat. So we have 220 animal buddies. Right here, we have a circus. These unlock after you get a certain amount of red rings. What's the point of them? Well, you unlock animals by breaking these balloons. Each and every single circus has a new minigame that you can do. Oh, okay, Sonic went a little bit too fast for me. Each and every single circus has a minigame that you can do to get animal friends, save them. I don't know why they're in these balloons. I don't know why they're here, but they're, I guess, being used for Eggman's amusement. You want to save them. Do these as frequently as you can. Sonic Lost World has a bit of a... Oh, God, why am I so bad at this? They're really not that hard. Sonic Lost World has a bit of a Sonic Unleashed problem, where there's something that holds you back from continuing on with the game if you don't have a certain number of them. MacGuffins, if you will. Those MacGuffins being the animals. You need to collect a certain amount of animals to continue through the game. I don't think these animals and their numbers are significant enough to the point where it's a really big issue that you have to deal with, but some people really, really hate this. I think as long as you play the circuses, you'll have enough animals, plenty, and as long as you go out of your way to kill enemies and find those animal capsules and break them, you'll be fine. But it's still something people aren't too fond of, and I can understand why. So, without further ado, let's call it a day. Next time, on Sonic Lost World, we'll go to Windy Hill Zone 3. And see why some people call this game a bit of a Mario knockoff. But again, that's for next time. Until then.